It's a really neat device. If you have something that you love and you want to prolong its life, this is the perfect device for you. Okay, cool. So we're going to demonstrate how to use the smart charger, the charge enhancer, with the Limpower MK1 Evo. This is an incredible skateboard that uses a 14S battery configuration. The first thing you're going to need to do when you buy this device is to look at the charger and look at what this port looks like. And this is the specific port that you need to choose. If you have multiple ones, be sure to check what the charger looks like. Sometimes the heads can look very similar and they would have numbers on them, like this one. There's a couple of very similar ones but with different number rearranged on them, so make sure you get the same exact ones. If you don't know what this number is called, be sure to email your manufacturer to get an exact specification number, model number of the head, or contact PIDZOOM. What I would like to do is to usually contact both of them just to kind of double check and make sure, because if you plug in the wrong one and burn your device, that's not going to be good, right? So just be sure to double check and get your charge head correct. That's like the most important thing. For most skateboards, this thing is the kind of like a default charger. There are different ones out there, but this is the most common one for electric skateboards. And what you need to do is to get adapters, right? Choose this adapter when you check out. This is actually a 2-piece. Unplug it and then plug this portion, the female portion, into the part that connects to the charger. And then what you need to do is connect the charger to an outlet. Got an outlet right here for you to see. Plugged into the outlet. So now the charger shows green. Now we're going to plug the charger into the input portion of the CE200, which is right here, right? You need the adapter because if you don't have the adapter, you can't plug it into the device. Okay, so once we plug into the device, there's a whole wealth of information that tells you about the charger, and soon enough, once you plug into the board, about the board as well. What you need to look at is the in portion. The in portion means that it's receiving about 58.6 volts, and the output is also coming out of this end about 58.6, but because it's not connected to anything, the amp is 0. That means it's got this pressure of 58.6, but it's sending volume equivalent to basically 0. Now we need to plug into this end with the cable provided. And once it's provided, the amp's output is still 0 because we have not connected to the board. And we're going to take the other piece, the adapter piece, and connect to this. So now it's connected. What we need to do is to check the manufacturer's website to check what the peak voltage is for your board. To check the peak voltage, either get that information from the manufacturer or you can calculate it for yourself. What I like to do is to get both, to get the manufacturer specifications on what the peak voltage is and then calculate it myself just to double check, right? On Limpower's website, they say this is a 54 volt battery, but 54 volt is the nominal output of the battery capacity of a 50S cell. On the manufacturer's website, it says they use Samsung 50S cells. Samsung 50S cells maximum peak voltage is 4.2 volts, not 3.6, but 4.2. And 4.2 times 14 is 58.8. That means to charge to 100%, we need to set the yellow portion to 58.8 to charge to 100%. But I don't want to charge it to 100% because I'm in the middle of the winter. I don't want to charge it to 100% and then bring it out to cycle the battery. So what I'm going to do is actually charge it to near 80 to 90%, somewhere near full, but not necessarily 100% full. And then just let it charge to that instead. The benefit of charging to nearly full but not necessarily full is to prolong the battery life, because if it's not at 100%, the batteries are not being overly stressed, and it just elongates the battery's life. However, most electric skateboards and most electric vehicles balances their batteries during the last stages of their charging, meaning charging from 90 to 100%. So you still should charge to a full cycle every 10 to 20 cycles or once a month, whichever comes first, if you choose to do this. I'm gonna say that again. If you charge to 80% with this device, you still need to do a full cycle to balance your cells every 10 to 20 cycles or once a month, whichever comes first. The reason to do that is because these devices rely on the last 10% of charging from 90 to 100% usually to balance their cells. And if you only charge to 80%, if you only charge to 70%, then you deny the board the ability to balance itself. And over a longer period of time, you might have really imbalanced cells. Really imbalanced cells just makes the battery pack unusable and sometimes worse, fire. But if you do this correctly, it should make the battery life much longer. Plus, this has a safety cutoff. So if something happens to the wall outlet or happens to the charger, which might damage your electric skateboard, this will automatically cut off and protects the battery. And also, once this thing charges to your determined voltage, it will also cut off the electricity source from your charger, so it will no longer charge. Sometimes I charge my board, I forget about it, and it stays plugged into the charger overnight and potentially overcharging the board. And overcharging the board is dangerous as well, so you don't want to be doing that, and this automatically cuts it off. You could set a predetermined voltage for it to cut off, or you could just set a timer, charge it for 1 hour, charge it for an hour and a half. Basically your estimate on when your board will be half or something along those lines, and be timed as well. Let's plug this thing in. The charge port of the MK1 is over here. Okay, it is now plugged in, and you can see the output numbers. It is now charging at 52.7 volts. Remember, 100% is 58.8 volts. Right now, it's definitely not 100%. It's still trying to reach to that voltage. And amps means that it's charging at roughly 4 amps. That's the volume of electricity going in. Before it was 0 because it's not plugged in. Now the volume has increased to 4 amps. The charger is a 4 amp charger. So this confirms to me that we're charging at the safe rate which the board is rated for and the charger is rated for. Here on the set, I set the cutoff amps to 4.5. So if the charger malfunctions for whatever reason and it reaches, a higher amperage that could potentially damage the board, the cutoff is at 4.5. So this thing will automatically cut off and protect the board. Now, there's also a timer. It says, hey, it's been charging for like 1 minute already. And it's going to charge like this. I've set it to 54.0. I do not want to charge it to 100%. As you can see here, the red dot means that it's charging. You can stop the charging process anytime by just clicking this on and off button. The on and off button doesn't really turn off this device. The device is turned off and on by feeding it electricity through the charger. And the on and off is really just a charge button. And then this stops the whole charging process. You can see the out voltage is 0 and the out amps is also 0. And once you want to resume, you click it one more time and it resumes. It's a really neat device that I think every electric skateboard fan, every PEV fan, if you have something that you love and you want to prolong its life, this is the perfect device for you. But it has a learning curve. And I think once you get down this learning curve, it's definitely worth it. Especially in the winter when you can't cycle through the battery all the time, or you just want to prolong the life and charge to 80% battery. All right, so absolutely love this device. There's a lot more different heads that I have here. You can charge different types of devices. I have them for my EUC, for my one wheel, for electric bicycles, and for electric scooters. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be using this to kind of maintain my fleet and make sure they run well. But even if you have one board just like this can significantly help just make sure everything is safe by having a cutoff and then charge to a predetermined voltage, so you don't have to charge to 100% all the time, and gives you a peace of mind by protecting you from over voltage or over amperage. Cool. Yeah, this is a really neat device, and there's a lot of other stuff on PIDZOOM as well. They have a full-fledged charger for this, so you can charge all of your skateboards and everything else with a full-fledged charger. This thing is also on sale on Black Friday. I think it's great to pick up, so definitely give this a chance.